They wear crowns. But behind the glitter, darkness hides. Secrets buried in palace walls. Scandals that shook nations' power abused, trust betrayed, and rules shattered. These aren't fairy tales. These are the royals who dared to think they were above everyone, above the law, above decency. Tonight we reveal the 10 most arrogant, shocking and untouchable royals in history, the ones the monarchy doesn't want you to see. Prince Andrew, once a proud Duke of York, and the second son of Queen Elizabeth II, lived a life many would envy. Born in 1960 at Buckingham Palace, he grew up surrounded by wealth, power and privilege. He attended elite schools like Gordonstown, followed in his father Prince Philip's footsteps, and even served as a Royal Navy helicopter pilot in the Falklands War. On paper, he seemed like the perfect prince, but behind the royal smile, arrogance and entitlement often ruled his life. Staff reported that Andrew treated them harshly, yelling at assistants and acting as if the rules didn't apply to him. He believed he was untouchable, a mindset many argue was taught by the monarchy itself, above the law, above consequences. In 1986, he married Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York. Their marriage lasted 6 turbulent years before separating in 1992. Even after divorce, Andrew continued to enjoy royal privileges, living at the Royal Lodge while raising their daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, as a unified family, according to Ferguson. Andrew's arrogance turned into global scandal due to his connection with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Allegations arose that he had coerced underage women, claims he denies, but the fallout was devastating. In 2015, he gave a disastrous BBC interview trying to defend himself. Public opinion plummeted. In 2022, Queen Elizabeth stripped Andrew of all military titles and royal honours, yet he continued to appear at family events like King Charles III's coronation in 2023. Finally, in October 2025, Andrew officially gave up all his royal titles and honours, now going by Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. Once a celebrated prince, he became a symbol of arrogance, entitlement, and the dangers of unchecked royal privilege. Princess Margaret, Queen Elizabeth II's younger sister, was beauty, elegance, and trouble wrapped in a tiara. Born in 1930, she was glamorous, stylish, and magnetic. But behind the charm was a fiery personality, a royal who didn't care about rules or traditions when they didn't suit her. Margaret was a rebel long before the term became trendy. She had a sharp tongue, a quick temper, and an unapologetic attitude. Royal experts describe her as snobbish, abrasive, and shockingly demanding, even to other members of the family. She expected to be treated with deference at all times. At parties, she would delay dinners for hours just to have her cigarette or drink. Her hairdresser had to meet her twice daily, and she frequently demanded multiple costume changes. Her relationships added to her reputation. Margaret's love life was famously complicated, with broken engagements, a controversial marriage to Anthony Armstrong-Jones, and whispers of affairs. She was considered the first royal to bring divorce into the modern royal conversation, breaking with tradition and causing public scandal. Her arrogance wasn't limited to family. Guests recalled her being rude and dismissive, sometimes physically aggressive. There's a story of her whacking a woman with an umbrella for feeding a squirrel. She insisted on being called only Ma'am or Princess Margaret, and had little patience for anyone who failed to follow her strict rules. Yet the public couldn't ignore her charm. Margaret was adored for her wit, fashion and rebellious spirit, even while leaving a trail of scandal. She represented the side of royalty that was unapologetically human, flawed, proud, and sometimes cruel. Her life was a constant mix of glamour and controversy, making her one of the most talked about, arrogant, and unforgettable royals in British history. Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, was the longest-serving royal consort in British history. Born in 1921 in Greece, he was charming, witty, and fearless, but also infamous for his blunt, sometimes shocking remarks. While many royals maintain a carefully polite image, Philip seemed to take pride in saying exactly what he thought, no matter how offensive. He was known for a string of public gaffes that left people shocked, embarrassed, or even outraged. From making insensitive comments about indigenous peoples to questioning children's physical abilities, he never shied away from controversy. One infamous remark during a school visit was telling a 13-year-old girl, "You're too fat to be an astronaut." Another involved asking an Aboriginal businessman, "Do you still throw spears at each other?" These moments highlighted a mix of arrogance, privilege, and ignorance. Philip's blunt personality extended to staff and family. He could be curt, demanding, and intimidating. Yet he was unapologetic, famously saying, "I know I am rude, but it's fun." To him, etiquette and diplomacy were secondary to his sense of humour, even when it offended. Despite his outrageous behaviour, Prince Philip had accomplishments few could match. He served in the Royal Navy during World War II, supported hundreds of charities and helped modernise the monarchy alongside Queen Elizabeth II. But his legacy is inseparable from his sharp tongue and controversial remarks, making him a polarising figure. Prince Philip embodied the side of royalty that was both fearless and unfiltered. Loved, feared, and often misunderstood, he reminded the world that the royal family is made up of humans, sometimes brilliant, sometimes scandalous, and often unapologetically arrogant. Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, is famous for her dedication, her no-nonsense attitude, and her sharp tongue. Born in 1950 as the second child of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, Anne has always marched to her own beat. She may not be the most adored royal, but she's certainly one of the most straightforward, and sometimes downright rude. Anne earned her nickname not for beauty or charm, but for her blunt, sometimes surly personality. In her younger years, she was known as a troublemaker, defying royal expectations and even getting into trouble with the law. She was the first member of the royal family to be convicted of a criminal offence, a speeding ticket, but she also had several others, which she got away with over the years. She was also the first senior royal to get divorced, breaking centuries of tradition. Her attitude toward the press and public was famously curt. She often shouted phrases like "bugger off" or "naff off" at reporters and camera crews, making it clear she had no interest in public flattery or attention. Anne even admitted she hated the public eye, saying she didn't ask to be born a princess. Princess Anne's rudeness extended beyond the press. There are stories of her mocking fans, including one incident where a 75-year-old fan who gave her a bouquet was met with scorn rather than gratitude. Despite this, she is a committed royal, undertaking hundreds of official engagements every year and supporting dozens of charities. Princess Anne's arrogance is subtle but unmistakable. She is fiercely independent, unafraid to speak her mind, and unapologetic about it. To the public, she may seem cold or unapproachable, but to those who admire her, she is a symbol of honesty, resilience, and royal defiance. In the world of royalty, Princess Anne proves that being polite is optional, but duty is mandatory. Sarah Ferguson, better known as Fergie, Duchess of York, has always been a whirlwind in the royal world. Born in 1959, she married Prince Andrew in 1986 in a glamorous ceremony at Westminster Abbey, instantly becoming one of the most famous women in Britain. But Fergie was never the quiet, obedient royal. She made her presence felt, often in ways that shocked the public. During her marriage, Sarah was known for her fun-loving and independent spirit, but also for making impulsive and controversial decisions. Tabloid scandals seemed to follow her everywhere. In the early 1990s, topless photos of her surfaced, along with images of her in compromising situations, including being photographed having her toes kissed by an American millionaire. These incidents created a media frenzy, making Fergie one of the most talked about royals in history. She also caused royal headaches behind the scenes. Sarah was caught trying to sell access to Prince Andrew in exchange for money, an attempt that could have damaged the royal family's reputation even further. Despite these controversies, she remained outspoken, giving interviews about her life and even offering marital advice to other royals, such as Prince William and Kate Middleton, often putting herself in the spotlight rather than stepping back. Yet, Sarah Ferguson is more than just scandal. She is a devoted mother to Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, raising them alongside Andrew despite their separation in 1992. She has also dedicated herself to charity work, particularly for children's welfare and disadvantaged communities, showing that her royal legacy is a mix of chaos and compassion. Fergie's story is one of royal rebellion. She broke the rules, challenged expectations, and refused to be ignored. Love her or hate her, she proves that the British royal family isn't all glitz and grace. Sometimes it's a royal circus. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, has lived his life in the public eye, but his reputation for arrogance and rebellion has followed him from his teenage years to today. Born in 1984, the younger son of Prince Charles and Princess Diana, Harry grew up in the shadow of his elder brother William, often being called the fun prince by the media. But over time, the world saw a side of him that was reckless, self-centered, and willing to flout royal tradition. Harry's public controversies began early, partying hard as a young royal, wearing Nazi uniforms to costume parties, and making headlines for wild escapades in Las Vegas and abroad. Now, these incidents painted him as a royal who thought rules didn't apply to him. But the real shift came after he met Meghan Markle. The couple quickly became a media sensation, but also a source of tension within the royal family. After marrying Meghan in 2018, Harry and his wife increasingly distanced themselves from the family. Their 2020 announcement that they would step back as working royals shocked the world. Critics accused them of arrogance, expecting royal treatment while refusing duties. Harry's memoirs, interviews, and public statements often aired family disputes, portraying the monarchy in a negative light and sparking fierce debates about loyalty, privacy, and entitlement. Despite his charitable work and support for veterans through the Invictus Games, Harry's actions are often seen as self-serving. His pursuit of fame and fortune outside traditional royal duties, combined with public criticisms of his own family, has earned him a reputation for arrogance unmatched by most modern royals. Love him or loathe him, Prince Harry proves that being a prince doesn't automatically mean being humble. Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, entered the British royal family in 2018 and immediately became one of the most talked about royals in modern history. Born in 1981 in Los Angeles, Meghan was an actress and activist before meeting Prince Harry. Her rise from Hollywood to royalty seemed like a fairy tale, but it quickly turned into a media storm, and her reputation for arrogance became a hot topic worldwide. From the start, Meghan challenged royal norms. She refused to strictly follow traditional protocols, often questioning expectations that other royals had accepted without complaint. Critics say she demanded special treatment, including her staff being available 24/7, strict control over her public image, and influence over how royal events were run. Reports of tension with staff and family fueled rumours of a toxic royal environment. The couple's 2020 decision to step back from royal duties shocked the monarchy. Harry and Meghan kept their titles, but stopped performing official engagements, prompting debate over privilege, entitlement, and responsibility. They moved to the United States, signed multi-million-dollar deals with Netflix and Spotify, and publicly criticised the royal family in interviews and in Harry's memoir, Spare. Despite her charitable work, including women's rights, mental health, and social justice initiatives, Meghan's actions have been described as self-centred and controlling. Her insistence on privacy while simultaneously seeking global attention created a perception of contradiction. Social media and tabloids constantly debate whether she is a revolutionary royal or simply arrogant. Love her or loathe her, Meghan Markle's presence in the British royal family represents a seismic shift. She redefined what it means to be a modern royal, but at the cost of controversy, friction, and a global debate over privilege, loyalty, and arrogance. Prince William, the eldest son of King Charles III, and Princess Catherine, formerly Kate Middleton, are often seen as the monarchy's golden couple. William was born on June 21, 1982, as the heir apparent's eldest child. Catherine, born on January 9, 1982, came from a middle-class family in Berkshire, England. Their love story began at the University of St Andrews, and the couple's engagement in 2010 captured global attention. They married in 2011 at Westminster Abbey, a spectacular ceremony watched by millions worldwide. William received the title Duke of Cambridge, while Catherine became the Duchess of Cambridge. Since then, they have been at the forefront of the royal family, carrying out hundreds of public engagements each year. Despite their public image of elegance and duty, critics have noted occasional hints of royal arrogance. For instance, they are known to adhere strictly to protocol, sometimes appearing distant or reserved during public events. Catherine's fashion choices alone have sparked discussions about expense and privilege, with some outfits costing thousands of pounds and funded by public attention, although she also uses her influence for charitable causes. The couple has 3 children, Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, who are already in the public eye. William and Catherine carefully balance family life with royal duties, but the pressure of constant media scrutiny and comparisons with other royals, especially Harry and Meghan, has created a subtle tension in public perception. William and Catherine are celebrated as modern royals, yet their strict adherence to protocol, polished appearances and careful image management show that even the perfect royals carry elements of entitlement and calculated public presence. Prince Charles, now King Charles III, was born on November 14, 1948, as the eldest son of Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip. From birth, he was destined for the throne, spending his life under intense public scrutiny. Educated at Hill House School, Gordonstoun and Cambridge, Charles was groomed to be king, developing a strong sense of duty, but also a reputation for being meticulous, serious, and sometimes aloof. Charles's early marriage to Princess Diana in 1981 was one of the most watched events in history. Despite the fairy tale wedding, their marriage was plagued with difficulties, public scandals, and private tensions. Charles's affair with Camilla Parker Bowles, which began before and continued during his marriage, became a source of worldwide controversy. Diana's 1995 Panorama interview further exposed the cracks, highlighting the royal family's strict rules and Charles's sometimes cold demeanour. Even before becoming king, Charles was known for his attention to detail and luxury lifestyle. Reports surfaced that he travelled with dozens of staff who managed everything from ironing shoelaces to squeezing his toothpaste. While some view this as entitlement, others see it as the extreme discipline of a lifelong heir. As a champion of causes, Charles has focused on the environment, architecture, and charitable work. He founded the Prince's Trust, which has helped hundreds of thousands of young people. He also played a key role in modernising the monarchy's charitable approach, balancing duty with personal advocacy. Charles's transition to king in 2022 marked the culmination of a life spent preparing for the throne. His long wait, coupled with public scrutiny and personal controversies, has shaped him into a monarch aware of both tradition and the power of public perception, blending duty, pride, and a calculated sense of royal superiority. Queen Camilla, born Camilla Rosemary Shand on July 17, 1947, grew up in an upper-class London family. She attended finishing schools in Switzerland and studied French literature in Paris, embodying elegance and poise from a young age. Camilla first married Andrew Parker Bowles in 1973, having two children, Tom and Laura, before divorcing in 1995. Her relationship with Prince Charles began in the early 1970s, rekindled after both had separate marriages. Despite their long-standing bond, their romance faced intense public scrutiny. The British press vilified Camilla, calling her a home wrecker, particularly after Charles's marriage to Princess Diana. Yet Camilla remained discreet, rarely giving interviews, letting her actions speak for her. Camilla has become a devoted supporter of King Charles III, focusing on charitable work and public service. She's patron of over 100 organisations and became the first female Chancellor of the University of Aberdeen. Her initiatives, like the Queen's Reading Room and support for the Queen's Commonwealth essay competition, show a dedication to education and youth development. Despite public controversy, Camilla has rehabilitated her image with patience, discretion, and consistent charity work. She actively participates in royal events, from state visits to Commonwealth celebrations, projecting calm authority and unwavering support for the King. Camilla's journey from vilified partner to respected Queen consort is a testament to resilience. While some critics still judge her past, her present role emphasises diplomacy, service, and stability. In a royal family often criticised for arrogance, Camilla demonstrates quiet strength, careful strategy, and an ability to navigate decades of public scrutiny while maintaining influence behind the throne.